This was an easy trade. This one ended up going right off the bat. Why I got into this trade. My net profit and loss was 34.94%, but I got out and it just so happens to have turned around. The biggest loss I took this year was... Today marks yet another milestone. I feel like you guys are probably getting sick of them, to be honest. You're like, every video she comes out with is a new record, something she's never done before yet again. And here we are with yet another milestone, another record, another personal best. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. Maybe that's what's content worthy, is like the records, the highs. The lows that I've recorded this year are quite minimal. The biggest loss I took this year was $2,000 trade. But this is where we're at. So let me walk you guys through my record trade of my entire trading career. Of 9 years, I closed my biggest trade I've ever had yesterday. I made $40,000. So let's break it down. What is the trade? How much did I make? What percentage did I make? What is my profit factor? What is my win percentage? What is my average win to loss? You guys want to know all the nitty gritty. I'm going to do a quick little tangent here. It's very important and it is something that's been on the brain. Is I've had so many people try to pick apart my trading, to analyze, overanalyze, if you will, and dissect every single move I make in the markets to try to find their own success or to try to find some sort of flaw or discrepancy or anything so that they can maybe make themselves feel better or think that there is some secret formula to being successful in trading, when in reality, I think you guys that the ones that try to dissect it are the ones that actually do know the answer. They know the answer. And it is truly just time. It is getting the chart time in and dedicating the years to trading. Like, I think that's it. You don't need to dissect all of my trades. You can, and I'll continue to do so because I'm an educator in the space, and I feel like it is my duty to share my actual trading results, my broker statements, my percentages, my trade expectancy, all of the analytics, as much data as I can give you guys to be able to dissect it. But you're not going to find it. You're not going to find the secret sauce or the one thing you've been missing or the one thing that you need to truly make you feel better about the position that you're in trading, or to think that you're going to get there much sooner, or you're like, this was the missing piece. She is a fraud. You're not going to find it because I'm not. And you know the answer. It's not going to happen in one missing puzzle piece. It is just time and dedication. So now, with that tangent being said and done and over, let's get into the trade. Let's go over why I got into this trade. I'm going to show you guys exactly where my lines were. Disregard the trade that is on here. There's 2 arrows in one candle. I went live last night on YouTube and showed everybody my trade, and then all the while accidentally placed a freaking trade on the live stream. Cannot believe that happened. I have instant order placement. I hit this freaking button by accident trying to move the chart around. So disregard those last 2 arrows. This arrow here, which says 20 contracts, buy at 948.6, and this arrow here, sell 20 contracts at 988.3. So I'm going to pause for a moment here and allow you guys to drop a comment in the chat. Just test yourself. I know you're going to get the answer to this obviously in a moment, but take this challenge. Look at this view. Based on where the lines are at and the types of lines that I have on the screen, some of you guys may think it's a laser show. Some of you guys may be able to actually find a method to the madness, and it might be a little bit clearer than you think. According to where the lines are at on the screen, what do you think told me to get into this trade? I'll wait. I'll pause. I'll think of some small talk while you're typing and while you're looking at, okay, we've got downward lines, we've got red lines, we got upward lines, we got green lines, we got horizontal lines, we got yellow lines. Out of which one of these lines and the entry that you see here on the screen, the candles that you see, the trade, the movement, what do you think got me into this trade? I've done enough small talk now to where you've probably typed in an answer and hit send. Now I will tell you the answer. And let's see if you were right or wrong. If you guys know me as a trader and know my social media, have watched my content before, you guys know I'm a trendline trader. So that's already first and foremost. Let's look at the trend lines here. We got a few on the screen. We've got this ever so slightly steep or ever so slightly upward green trend line. This one's going back from a higher time frame. And then we've got these 2 downward red trend lines. This downward red trend line has 1, 2, 3 touch points. Boom. We got 3 touch points. We've got a break of that downward trend line. I am a breakout trader. I trade when the trend breaks out and then try to stay in for that new trend. And it's essentially just that over and over and over again. I get a breakout of a trend. Now I'm trying to stay in for the new trend. And then when I get a breakout of that new trend, I'm closing my position and then reversing. That continues. We do that over and over again. So if you put because we got a break of a trend line, you are correct. Good job. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. If you put because it bounced off of this support, 935.2, you were wrong. Now, that doesn't mean you're wrong. Maybe that's your strategy, but that is not what opted for me to get into this trade. Now, it did give me some added confirmation, and it made me a lot more confident about my trade because it was rejecting off of this 935.2, but that is not what indicated an entry for me. I am a trend line trader, a trend line breakout trader specifically. I need a breakout of a trend in order to take an entry, in order to get into a position. So we have a break of a downward trend. Where is my risk? Everyone wants to know. Where is my stop loss going? The stop loss will always go on the other side of the opposing trend line. At the time, guess what? This steep trend line was not there. I did not know that was going to be there. I did not know what was going to happen in the future and know exactly where to put my upward trend line. No. At the time, I only saw this candle. That's it. We're looking at a 4-hour time frame. We got a break of a 4-hour downward trend line. My stop loss has to go on the other side of not only this area of support, but also this upward trend line. Stop loss goes on the other side of it. It's not exact to the cent, to the T, to the dime. I am simply dragging that stop loss and putting it on the other side of that. As long as price can stay above this upward green trend line and this area of support, I'm happy and I'm staying in my trade. Well, as we continue to watch what price does, we can see this was an easy trade. This one ended up going right off the bat. I think I was barely in drawdown for maybe a few hours, and then this thing is just going, continuing. Did I know it was going to do that? No. I get into my trade expecting either outcome. This was either going to be a fake out and continue to turn around and hit my stop loss, or it was going to keep going. I didn't know how long it was going to continue to trend up for. I didn't know how quickly or how aggressively. I just took the signal that we got a break of a downward trend line. That is my inkling that, okay, we may no longer be trending down because we broke the downward trend line. So now, I could have tried to track price steeper upward with these candles here, but since I almost have like this relationship with platinum, when I'm in a 4-hour time frame, I just know the steeper the line, the more likely it is to get crossed. Price does not respect these steeper trend lines very often in the 4-hour time frame. So I will always opt for the less steep. So I am continuing to stick with my original trend line. My less steep line, we've got a lot of wiggle room here. I could give my profit back and some, but I want to have a more obvious point B, a more obvious pullback to track price steeper. So I'm allowing price to continue. All right, we're going. We're feeling good. Ooh, we got some pullback here. We're getting a little bit nervous. All right, we got some sideways movement here. Okay. All right, now we got a pretty aggressive candle here. So now we are in profit significantly. I want to try to capitalize on that. Now we've got at least enough data to work with. We've got enough candles. We've got enough time that's gone by. I feel comfortable now tracking this steeper. Now it's not as obvious of a pullback, but it's something. If I want to try to at least maintain some of this profit, I have to track this steeper. So then this is where I come in with my ray tool, my trend line. We got point A and this last low. That's all we're working with here. And let's continue to move these candles forward. Okay, looking good, looking great. I probably exited right here. Now we'll go back and see. But now the strategy, I should be staying in this trade until price breaks this upward trend line. I happen to have this reoccurring theme here, or this habit this year, where since I am trading bigger positions this year and I'm trying to do this almost like exposure therapy experiment, I'm working on bigger capital and bigger positions, and I'm also letting these dollar amounts influence my decisions. So when I saw that I was up $40,000, I closed it. Clipped out. 1, it was a record trade. Oh my gosh, amazing. 2, that was a really big amount. And 3, I did not want to give that back. So if I had removed the dollar amounts and purely traded based on my strategy, I shouldn't have exited until price crossed this line right here at this 974. That is according to the strategy. That right there would have been a textbook trade. Beautiful profit. We would have given the opportunity for platinum to continue up. It could have gone all the way to 1020, but we allowed it to show us what trend it was going to follow along. If I would have traded 100% by the book according to the strategy, entry would have been at the break and exit would have also been at the break. Instead, I got out, and let's go ahead and get out of replay mode. Yes. Instead, I got out at 988. 948.3. Now, did I know that that was going to be one of the highest points it made? No, absolutely not. I had no idea that it was going to turn around after that. To be honest, I got out of my position and thought, I'm going to have some serious FOMO if this thing moves all the way up to 1020. That would have been $70,000 that I just left on the table. That's what I was anticipating. But I got out and it just so happens to have turned around. So did I know something? No, I didn't. I didn't know that was going to be the high at the time. That was just luck. But I did take my entry based on my strategy, not based on luck. I got a break of a downward trend line. We got 3 touch points. Really nice. I love it. We got a lot of data behind it. A+ setup here, low risk because of how close the price was to my opposing trend line. Everything checked out. But the exit I did not know was going to be high at the time. My true exit according to the strategy should have been here, this 974-ish area. That's where I should have closed my trade. So let's talk a little bit more now about the specifics of the trade and the nitty gritty of the trade, because I know that's what you guys want to know. What was my capital? How many contracts did I trade? When did I enter? When did I exit? What is my percentage profit and loss? So let's go through that part. So right here, the entry, 20 contracts at 948.6. This is platinum futures. I'm trading the futures market. This is platinum. The ticker symbol is PL1 exclamation point. I am trading in a 4-hour time frame. I stay in the 4-hour time frame. This is my entry. Buy 20 contracts. My stop loss goes on the other side. It wasn't to the cent. It was somewhere on the other side. I simply take the stop loss and I drag it, make sure that it's on the other side of this 935.2 and this upward green trend line. Exit 20 contracts at 988.3. My exit was not according to my strategy. It was purely because I was up $40,000. I clipped out, I closed it. Okay, now let's go into my trade Zealous stats and kind of walk through this trade here. You will see that it says I took 2 trades on July 31st. I accidentally placed a trade on YouTube Live and lost $200 while I was trying to show everybody my trade. So if we can disregard that, that'd be great. If you don't want to, okay, then don't. But let's go into the trade. So I made about, we'll say give or take like 1 or 2% because of that accidental trade. But my net profit and loss was 34.94%. If we want to go over my stats for the year, look at the win percentage from January 1st to August 1st. It says 11 trades. There's a few trades in here that I made for YouTube content. I did some day trading. I wish I hadn't. We'll go through these numbers and you guys can see the bigger trades are going to be my swing trades. And then there's going to be like maybe three trades within that are experimental day trading trades that I did for content on YouTube, which I regret because now it throws all my stats off. But it is what it is. We'll go ahead and count it anyways. My net profit and loss for the year so far is 125.86%. My profit factor is 42.31. My trade win percentage is 63.64. Those 4 losses, I'm pretty sure were all the day trades, but we'll go over them anyways. And my average win to loss is 22.9. My trade Zealous score is 100. That's awesome. Didn't know how I did that, but love it. Okay, now let's go into the trade themselves. Okay, here we go. Let's start from the beginning. January 22nd, 2024, $10,000. February 12th, 2024, $29,000 in platinum. Then the very end of February 27th, $10,000 in crude oil. This one I remember vividly. We've got March 25th, accidental trade. I got into the wrong contract of platinum, had to close at negative 2,837. Took my first L of the year. Love that for me. And it's so unfair that it was an accidental one, but it was my fault. I was not paying attention to the correct contract. I should have been in PLN 24. Instead, I got into PLJ 24. So next trade. We're going in strong. We're in the correct contract for platinum. We made $30,000. Then the next trade, we're looking at April 25th, $24,000. Then we've got 2 day trades here. I placed a stupid day trade in copper, lost $267. Placed a stupid day trade in crude oil, lost $66. And then, oh my God, let's go over. Actually, I'll save this one for another video. I experimented with Ethereum, but I stayed in the futures market. So I still stayed safe. I placed a trade in Ethereum within the futures market. So it was the futures version of Ethereum. And I was in that for 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks. It was excruciating. The amount of volatility, the drawdown, the profit, it was a nightmare. It was a roller coaster. And then after those 3 or 4 weeks, I ended up closing it with a whopping $46. That was excruciating. And then we've got my record trade here of, $39,661. When I hit the button, so maybe there's a little bit of spread there. Maybe I was a little bit late. So not quite $40,000, but we're going to go ahead and call it $40,000 in platinum. The trade opened up on the 26th and I closed it on the 31st. So I was in that trade for 4 days, 18 hours, and 44 minutes. And then this one, as you guys can see, the accidental trade. There it was. I was in it for 1 whole minute and 33 seconds. Lost $264. Love that for me. But this is the one that we really want to get into. This is the record trade here. PLV 24. Okay, entry price 948.605. Exit price 988.30. Net ROI 4.18%. Net profit and loss $39,661. I opened the trade on the 26th. I made a profit of 7,939 ticks. And then the duration of the trade was 4 days, 18 hours, and 44 minutes. Hold on, everyone's going to want to know how much dollar amounts was I willing to lose on this trade. So let's go back through and walk through it. I'm going to have to guess and say it was maybe like $10,000 to $13,000 that I was willing to lose to make. The goal was 50, but I ended up settling for 40. I don't know the exact dollar amount. I will tell you that I place my stop losses and plan my risk based on dollar amounts and not on percentages. It's not a fixed percentage. It's not a fixed amount every single trade. It is dynamic. It is all dependent on how close the price is to my safety line, which is the line that keeps me safe, the line that mitigates my risk. So that was the full breakdown of my $40,000 trade, my record trade of my trading career. Well, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop another comment. You should have already placed a comment on what you thought got me into that trade. If you didn't, rewind. Let me know what you think would have gotten me into that trade, although you've already made it to the end, so you know what got me into the trade. But if you guys have any questions on the trade specifically, I'm going to be posting my broker statements on the community section of my YouTube, so stay tuned for that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, smash that noti bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.